There we go. Second try. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea, folks. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We'll be getting to the JRC here in a moment. But first, a few channel updates, as well as the disclaimers and the trigger warnings. Channel updates. Due to the fact that our U.S. government has utterly and clearly lost its mind, medical records of individuals like myself are now under threat. What I mean by that is everybody's favorite crackpot by the name of RFK Jr. wants to set up an autism registry. How he would like to do so is to get access to our medical diagnosis papers and information. I don't know if you all are history junkies the way that I'm a history junkie, but anytime anything like that appears, there's usually not benign reasoning behind it. Those are the type of words that make people paranoid for a reason. Almost like there is not one, but multiple historical records of that happening before all the shit hits the fan. Pardon my language. So, I have literally spent the afternoon going over what the options are to lock down my medical records so that he is unable to access them into this new pseudoscience study. Because let's face it, it's gonna be pseudoscience. And not just that, folks, but with this registry, he wants to be able to track us and put smartwatches on us. So we are going to be going over what the different protections are. There's one protection in particular I'm going to want to go over that does have some very serious drawbacks, but it also provides one of the strongest protections for this kind of intrusion into our own medical treatment programs. So there will be a video series on that, but I do want to do further research. This is extremely serious. I want to make sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed before we start doing those particular videos. Disclaimers. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shots campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, pertinent links are going to be right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of Autistic Hoya's massive archive that we link in every single video on this channel. You'll find all the receipts we have in regards to the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center right there through that link. Also, we have the article link from the Neuroclastic. It's the article where they surveyed over 800 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. The same one they threatened Neuroclastic with a defamation lawsuit over if they didn't remove it from their website, no less. Obviously, Neuroclastic refused, and the link is still up, so please read it and share it. And also, we have a GoFundMe that we all put together for them on the behalf of Neuroclastic, just in case the JRC ever does see through with their threat, because unlike them, unfortunately, we don't have access to unlimited streams of money. Because let's face it, if I did, I would be probably about halfway to Canada or Mexico or somewhere in the UK by now. It's getting real dark and bleak out there, folks. Especially for us disabled folks. Especially for neurodivergent folks. Especially folks with mental health issues. And wouldn't you know it, I hit the trifecta. So, there's that. All right. Trigger warnings when we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys. You're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please make sure to utilize the headphones. Also, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We do use profanity and speak on dark subjects. If your child's 16 and younger and they are watching this, parental supervision is advised. Also, very obviously, I'm getting double whammied with allergies today. So if you hear weird noises coming out of the back of my throat, I apologize for that in advance. Speaking of, let me sit up a little bit. All right, folks, let's get back to where we were the other day. As the court has explained, our cases have consistently followed that course. Our constitutional system long ago rejected any notion that a child is the mere creature of the state, and on the contrary asserted that parents generally have the right, coupled with the high duty, to recognize and prepare their children for additional obligations. This is another case of the JRC sticking their fingers in their ears like they're toddlers and humming loudly at the top of their lungs anytime they're challenged with things that they don't want to talk about. So we're going to bring it up for the billionth time. JRC. Most circumstances, yes, parental rights and their authority over their minor children must be respected. However, in the instances where parents may choose a treatment program that has been proven to be extremely detrimental to their physical and mental well-being, then the state government, the federal government, or state department and federal department then have the right to step in and supersede parental rights so that they can protect that child's right to safe and humane medical care and mental health care. Remember, we're talking about me living in a state where one of the biggest lawsuits from the 2010s had to do with Christian Science parents who, when a teacher called an ambulance because their child was very ill and would die without proper medical intervention, the parents went to the hospital and demanded the child's release immediately under religious rights because they don't believe in modern medicine, even if it could save their child's life, and said that they would pray it away. Now, what that means is if the parent is making a decision that is obviously not sane, it is obviously a decision that's a detriment, not an aid to their child, then the state and federal have every right to step in and act on the behalf of the child. They can do this because, and I know places like JRC hate when people like me remind you of this, they have legal protections too. Okay? When parents use their parental rights to put kids in programs that can cause them extreme harm, that's violating the child's rights. See what I'm saying here? As my stepmom used to put it, when exercising your rights begins to infringe on the child's rights, then the child has recourse to have somebody step in on solely their behalf to protect them from dangerous medical programs and medical decisions that can end in their extreme harm. Okay? Parental authority is not without its limits. It doesn't supersede rational medical care. It can be overturned when it's the child's mental and physical well-being is at stake. If all the receipts we've gone over in regards to the JRC proves anything, it proves that their device is very much detrimental to their child's physical and psychological well-being. We can cite numerous ER documentations, provide video surveillance footage, and ER photos to back that assertion up. So hammering, but the parents. I'm sorry, this is not the Middle Ages. The parents are not a law in and of themselves. There are limits. Okay? There are limits. Because we understand in this reality of ours that parents can be preyed upon by very unscrupulous and shady individuals and be drawn up into this nearly cult-like pseudoscience group that has been around for the last 30 to 40 years. And be brought in to such a point, become so dependent on that system, that no amount of evidence that you can put in front of their face is ever going to convince them anything different from what the grifter is telling them. That is why there are laws now that will allow the state or the federal government to step in when those decisions are being made, puts the child at extreme risk. Quite frankly, I'm tired of having to repeat the same crap on every single video. There's legal precedent. Parents do not have complete and utter authority that cannot be questioned. This is not the Middle Ages. Their parents are not royalty. At least for now, we're still a country of laws. God knows how long that's going to last, but at least as of right now, there's at least a token respect. Let's put it that way. So for the time being, yes, the FDA can step in and ban a device that is known to cause harm both physically and psychologically to the child, whether the parent has agreed to that treatment and truly believes in that treatment or not. Facts don't care about your feelings. All right? Now, we are going to go ahead and read a couple more sentences and then close out for this particular video. You see them citing cases that really have absolutely nothing to do with the subject at hand, particularly when they choose law cases that go back to 1923 and don't even remotely resemble the subject we're discussing. One of the favorite tactics of the JRC, we're just going to list a bunch of crap and just assume everybody's dumb and is not going to look this up to determine whether this has anything to do with the subject at hand or not. Kind of like how they brushed over the fact that over half the beds they listed for all those kids whose details they plastered all over the internet have to do with being anti-seizure medication, not behavioral health types of medication. All right, last sentence here. Surely this includes a high duty to recognize symptoms of illness and seek and follow medical advice. The problem is, whose medical advice, JRC? Is it the accepted standard within the medical model, also known as the types of treatment programs used by everyone else? Yes, including on kids, just as quote unquote severe as those at the JRC? Or are we saying that parents have every right to subject their children to horrific and extremely harmful pseudoscience nonsense that could cause them severe physical and psychological harm? Hear me when I say, kids, even minor kids, have rights. But those rights are being infringed upon, yes, even when their rights are being infringed upon by their own parents, they have a right to recourse. Which means state and federal can step in. Nobody cares if it hurts your feelings, JRC. And on that, folks, we're going to go ahead and close out for this particular video here. We don't get very many views on this channel, and the few we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So if you could, folks, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and please don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time, and as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I will see you all again here in a few minutes. Bye-bye, everyone.